Yo, what's up, guys? It's Talon, and today we're going to be coaching a Wukong player who's a Grandmaster Peak player. He's currently Grandmaster, so we've coached him a few times. He's already Grandmaster decently early in the season, kind of going for like Challenger, that type of thing. But this coaching really kind of focuses on what to do with the lead, and also like kind of how to improve when you're a bit of a higher level player, because he is Grandmaster. Kind of like showing the smaller things to improve on, talking about his a little bit different jungle pathing than you maybe watch the average player play, and just a lot of those types of things. So if you're interested in that, definitely stick around for the rest of the video. I do coaching for $25 an hour. Just DM me in Discord, Talon1169, or through the link in the description. I've been top 10 on the server 5 different seasons. I've hit solo queue sovereign, all those types of things. So if you're interested in coaching, just DM me, and let's get right into the video.
I was at 29 marks, and after this game, I wrote to you and told you that I'm not playing until I had my coaching with you. But in the end, I end up playing. So this is the second game. The second game was the promotion game, and I would just like to have your opinion. So this is our first coaching, by the way.
Gotcha. What do you mean this is our first coaching?
Fourth, sorry.
Oh, fourth. I was gonna say, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Is this would this be the first time you'd gotten Grandmaster? Had you gotten before? I forgot.
I got Grandmaster last season, yeah.
Gotcha. Is the goal kind of Challenger? I mean, because we're pretty early in the season, kind of have a while still to...
I would love to go Challenger. It will be a big challenge, but
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
You see my screen, by the way? I just want to...
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It was good.
Do you feel like you've had any things like since the last coaching that you need to work on or anything like that, or that like have gone
So since your last video with Corrupt, I changed my jungle pathing, and it was even before that because I saw a jungle pathing from one Chinese Wukong player, so I'm just imitating him. And now it's been like since I was Diamond 1 that I'm playing with this pathing. So I would like to have your advice and overview about the pathing. So as you can see, I start here.
Okay, so why don't you get Sweeper at all? Like, why do you just decide you just want wards instead?
Oh, you remember in the last coaching you said that Smash, your coach.
Smash does take wards.
Yeah,
he's one of the very few people who does. Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm just like every game I just keep having my.
Okay, so what's your reasoning for this pathing?
Just extra vision, and also on the second pathing when I go to my red, the enemy blue side is available. So I like to have a ward so I can just invade more safely.
So if you do this pathing, the enemy blue side, if they start which side? So you do blue to red, so...
Actually, that's a good question, but sometimes it happens. That's why I'm having a ward, because I know that it happens, so I'm just warding every time, so I know which pathing does the enemy has.
So your second red, okay, so we can just figure out the timing, because then we'll be able to, I can answer this, but... So, you're killing your red, do you know how long camps take to respawn?
150, yeah.
But do you know how buffs are different? But yeah, normally.
The buffs are different. 150 for the buffs, and 110 for the...
150 for small camps, 230 for buffs. So you killed this at 104, which means your thing will respawn again 330 roughly, which means you're thinking their blue's going to respawn around 330, which means they would have had to clear at 104 as well, which means if they started red side, like if they did their red side clear like this, like if they did a normal red side clear, it's going to take them longer to clear their blue than it will for you to clear your red, because of the fact that you're there earlier because you're skipping some blue side camp. So let's say they start red side, right? Their blue, they maybe don't kill till I don't know, 125 is pretty normal, 130. So then it respawns instead of 330, 350. So then like you'll have, like you come back, you can clear your red, and then right around 350 it's spawning, which means like if you're getting your red at 330 right away, then you have that brief time period where you can get there if they start red side. If they start blue side, then their blue will spawn, they'll kill it at 30, 35. So it respawns at 3. So you're not going to probably get it there unless they're really inefficient. So if they start red side, you have this invade angle. So this pathing, and so if you want to do this, sometimes you can do this, but you shouldn't be doing it every game. If you want to be more creative with pathing, which you can be on an early game jungle, you shouldn't do it every game. You should do it in a game where you expect to have lane prio, you expect to have like winning lanes, and you also have a pretty good jungle matchup. Like these are the cases. So like, what's their jungle this game? I didn't notice. Do you know who it is?
I think it's Evelynn.
Evelynn. Okay, so Evelyn's a champ I think you could do this into because Evelynn does get screwed over by invades.
Or no, it's Lilia. It's this one. I think it's Lilia.
Lilia?
No, this one is Lilia.
Okay,
yeah.
then if it's Lilia, it doesn't make sense because where does Lilia start 95% of games?
Yeah, blue. Yeah, blue.
So it wouldn't make sense here. So this is why it's good. Like this is why when you're watching a player, you see, because you said you saw a Chinese player do it, right? When you watch them do it, you can learn things from it. But I guarantee he either does it every game and he's one of those players who doesn't think a lot, or he doesn't do it every game and he does it only in these circumstances. So if we can actually figure out the circumstances that make sense, then we can do this sometimes, but it's not something we want to do every game. So if you're into a blue side clear start, don't do it, you know? Or you can even reverse it if you really wanted, but if you reverse it, it's a little harder because you kind of want your red buff. You don't, like, you're okay with maybe not having blue right away, but you don't really want to not have red right away. So, I mean, so yeah, I would say if we're into a weak early game jungle, so let's say it was an Evelynn and there's a chance of them starting red side or a Kayle or, you know, whoever, we can do it. It's not the end of the world. It does, you know, screw us over in a few regards. So like, again, the strength start gives you that chance of invading, which means I want strong jungle matchup and I want winning lanes. You don't have winning lane. Akali loses Victor, and Garen does probably beat Set, but it's not like a crazy winning matchup. You know, it's like he probably beats it, but you're not really going to have a bunch of prio because you're not going to have mid prio. So I would say when you have mid prio, when you think there's at least a decent chance they start red side and they have bad early game, those are the circumstances. Does that make sense?
All right. Yeah, absolutely.
And so yeah, so I don't mind though, like again, but that's why when we are trying to learn from watching players, we want to actually try to reverse engineer it rather than just be like, a good player did that, so I'm going to do it. But yeah, either way, you would assume then at this point. And so again, this is when we're playing a style where we want to invade more. We see her, so we knew she did start red side, or blue side rather, which makes sense. We also want to think about when are their camps going to respawn. So again, when is her blue side going to respawn? You know?
Her blue side now at 3:30. 3:30. No, you said 4.
No. So the last side will respawn around 3:30 to 4, but she started blue side, which means she goes blue, red, blue, which means she started blue buff. So if you start blue buff, it takes 2:30 to respawn. Then you kill it at 30 seconds, so it would spawn at about 3. And then if we're looking at her Gromp, she probably killed her Gromp around 35 to 50 seconds. I don't know exactly, but let's say 40 seconds. So it would respawn at 220, right? So 220-ish, 230 is when her side's going. And the reason I want you to do this is so you understand then when's she going to be there. Does this lead to a possible invade angle somewhere else, like that type of thing if you're looking for this? But you can see here, like, the problem is you do kind of fall a little bit behind in terms of your clear because you're down now like a camp, because she could, and you end up finding a good gank angle. So like, again, if we want to find these more aggressive angles to find possible invades, to look for more ganks, we can do it. But in this situation, like, again, this works out really well. But it only works out because she's extremely inefficient. Like, what should happen if she's a really good player is you 4-camped in 156, she should have 6-camped. So you 4-camped and you got Scuttle, but she should be able to 6-camp in that time period, and then probably come Scuttle. And then let's say that you do get the Scuttle by the time she does. Because you probably, okay, so again, the things that could happen. She 6-camps, and then you'd be able to get the Scuttle in time. You could double Scuttle her, right? That's one situation. The other is she would 4 or 5 camp Scuttle and then go to red side, and then she get a camp lead on you. So you're kind of accepting, like, there's a possibility that you fall slightly behind in terms of camps, but you give yourself this invade angle, like we spoke about, wouldn't be good into Lilia, could be good into other champs. And you give yourself a chance to get a quick drive-by gank on mid lane, as you saw, which worked out here. So I don't think that this is necessarily bad, but I think we want to do this if we see, like, you know, the matchup makes sense, right? Not just an every game thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think here it's not even like bad. And we see, like, if she is inefficient, it punishes her. If she played really well, we probably don't get the punish off. But like, I don't mind, you know, sometimes having pathing that can take advantage of mistakes when we're still getting somewhat efficient pathing. Here at this point, if we look at the lane, it looks really hard to gank because of the fact that I guess he was so low I didn't even see his health bar. So that guy's fine if you want to flash for it. The lane was pushing. I didn't even see Vayne on my screen, so it's fine to go try to kill Vayne. But the lane's pushing, so it's a lot harder to kill, you know, in that situation. But I think it's good, obviously, since you saw a low health person.
Yeah.
I think everything here in terms of your early game is good. Like I said, probably wouldn't want to do this pathing in this specific game still based on what we spoke about, but it's not bad or anything. And then we just need to take a recall here. Like, I don't really want, I guess, okay, now this guy's low enough, you can just dive him. This is different, right? But typically what I want you thinking is to just recall, and it looks like you just take your recall anyway.
Yeah.
Which is good. Again, pretty happy with the early game. I think you've been efficient while still finding those gank angles. You're kind of trying to be more aggressive because your champ is early game. So I don't really have any problems with it, with anything you've done early game overall. And you're looking for a good gank angle here. Like, I like that as well. So yeah, I think the early game is definitely like much improved compared to before. So.
That's the thing with this pathing. I'm more connected with every lane, so it just give me more opportunities to gank people and maybe sometimes take some plates.
Yeah, and again, it just depends on matchups. Because like also, I'm just trying to think like if we're in a like into a really early game champion, like how does this work? You know, like I don't think it'd be super good if like let's say, you know, we're playing against, I don't know, Vi is like kind of somewhat hard to fight early or whatever, or at least in like these types of champs, if we end up getting that level disadvantage, can be a bigger deal. Because like, again, let's say they did approach it, like let's say it was a Vi who has a pretty fast clear. She could 6 camp you here, which would take 135, 140 maybe. And then she goes Scuttle, she gets level 5. You're level 4 by the time, because you contested Scuttle at 2 minutes. Or at, like, it was 157. And so she could contest you on Scuttle. And with your pathing, since you're skipping 2 blue side camps at the start, and again, I'm going back to I'm talking about the very first clear, so we're at like 5 minutes, but I'm talking about this very first clear, like right here. You see how you're here at 209, right? That's when it's like pretty much dying. So at this point, you're skipping 2 camps. She's gonna already be able to get level 5 like much quicker than you, and like a jungler like that getting level 5 quicker than you is going to be potentially dangerous. Whereas like Lilia getting level 5, we don't actually care. So that's why like some of the things to just keep in mind, and again, just to try out in your games, are like, when I'm doing this pathing, do I fall behind more if the enemy laners are weak, or like if my laners are weaker, the enemy laners are stronger, or if the enemy jungle is stronger? So like, just keep in mind, there's going to be some games where your goal is just to farm and protect lanes. Like, let's say you had Vayne Lulu, you know, you had, I don't know, Kayle top lane, whatever. We're just going to have like the most scaling, you know, team ever, and we had Orianna mid. If you're having all these things, you're pathing in that game, and like, let's say they're, you know, they're Lee Sin and they're Renekton, a bunch of early game. Your pathing in that game shouldn't be what you're doing here, because you'd be fucking screwed, right? You'd have no prio mid, you have no prior bot, whatever. And so again, I'm not talking about this because, again, this game, early game, what you did is good, everything. I just want to make it clear. A lot of times people fall into the pathing of like the same thing every game. And when you do that same pathing every game without reason, you're going to get screwed over. Like I said, you weren't thinking about blue side timers, right? So I'm just giving you some things to think about to try to change your pathing, to get more creative with it. Because if you want to play an early game champion, I'm happy to do that. But yeah, then we might get screwed over by a Lee Sin hitting level 5 before us because we're slightly less efficient on this clear, or trying to gank a lane with a Kayle or an Orianna who can't really gank setup much and do bad matchup, that type of thing. So and then yeah, I think what's it, did we already go here? Yeah, I think we saw this part.
Yeah, we did. And as you said, like here, I watched her. I see that she didn't have the blue thing, so I knew that her blue buff was up. And that was kind of a risky play.
Oh, I like that. I think that's great. I mean, even if you died, like, it's not the end of the world. But I think it was good. You know, you noticed the thing. Why would Set be there? Like, that was weird. Set was even there, honestly. Like, that's not something that we'd typically expect. And you get flash. Oh, unfortunate.
Yeah.
It looks like you still live though. So yeah. I actually really like. I like this early game a lot. Like, I think it's actually just really, really good for sure.
Oh, cool. I was expecting that you would shout on me when I made this play on the blue buff.
No, I think it's good. Yeah, like, I'm fine with these type. It's a little risky. Yeah, like, it is definitely a risky play. But you're into a Lilia. You're up a level. You're up a bunch of health. Like, yeah, if there were different circumstances, she's even level with you or even health, then it's different. But in that situation,
and here I absolutely need your view here, because the Akali just kept insulting me all game long after this.
Okay, we'll see.
And I would just like to know what you have done. What you have done, yeah. So here I leave the.
Yeah, you leave.
Yeah, I just left the.
I mean, I don't mind trying to zone them. Okay, yeah.
And
I mean,
here I see the turret. I mean, this is first turret, right? I prioritized this.
Yeah,
and
so
she just kept on. Yeah.
There's some situations where, like, frankly, and when you're in the game, it's like what she's thinking is we can get Scuttle for free, or we can get Herald for free. We get first turret, it's easy. And what you're thinking is we just get first turret anyway. I get a kill here. Why would we not do it? You're 100% right in terms of like what you're doing. But if you just did exactly what she did, like, it's a good outcome either way. So that's why, from her perspective, she's just like, we just had a good outcome. Then you leave. If I'm playing, yeah, I'm gonna do what you do. I think it's completely correct. And then you just get the turret. For some reason she stays on it. You get kind of screwed over by it. It's really not a big deal because even though, like, you lose Herald, you get first turret, so that's most of the value from Herald anyway. And yeah, she just kept sitting on it. Not really a big deal for you. Like, not your fault. It is what it is. Yeah, like I said, like, you could have stuck on there. It's fine. Some people could just get overly mad, but no, I think it's fine. Like, again, I don't really have an issue with you doing that. Okay, this was really risky though, just because if Set was like paying attention, like, he could technically ult you. Obviously you're invisible initially, but like here he could have ulted you under turret. And
that's right.
So a little risky, just in terms of like keeping track of spells. So when we're going in, we want to make sure like we know what spells they have. Then I don't mind you going for turret here, and then just after you just go in a hard farm. Like, that's basically, yeah, you just get a plate or two, and then you just go and farm. Noob.
Yeah, she said fucking jungle just right before. And
That's
here
funny.
she just throw,
Respect your own rule. Alright. Yeah, and here, like, I would just want you to farm pretty, like, efficiently at this point. So, like, this is where also the whole, like, thing about the corrupt stuff, right, with breaking open the game and trying to pay more attention to lanes and ganking is, like, once you get a good lead as well, your risk doesn't need to be, you don't need to take as many risks, do as many things, you know, just like over force a lot of things. It's fine to start just like reeling it back and just being like, okay, I'm just gonna farm, we're just gonna go for objectives, we're gonna protect turrets, because like right now we've already gotten bot turret, top turrets, you know, currently being taken. We're not gonna get mid turret this early in the game probably, so like we don't have a lot of things that we can actually do besides kills to progress the game right now, so we might as well go for our farm initially. And if you do want to go here, your main goal should be protecting your turret rather than going for a random kill on set. Like here, I would way rather just prioritize killing all of these things on our turret, like whatever the Herald things. I don't know what Set's doing, so shout out to him. But either way, like, I'd rather just prioritize safer plays once we're in a good position in the game. So like here, 2,300 gold, no blue buff. You're gonna run out of mana if you use maybe 1.5 spell rotations. And it looks like we're kind of prioing Dragon. Like, I don't want to be doing all this. I would have rather we take our reset quicker, we get back to be able to contest. It's just safer that way. But instead, we're contesting. This is like one of the ways you can throw the game. You're in a really good spot in the game. One of the main ways we can throw the game is overextending when we have 2,600 gold to spend. You know, like, we're still fighting. You're strong, so it's not like you're gonna, like, you know, just run it down in this fight. But you're not nearly as strong as you should be. You're 504. And you're probably like fighting like a 102 jungler right now because you have 27 gold that you haven't spent. So, and now you're chasing another kill instead of, again, blue buff. So it's like, up until this point, everything you've done is fine. Like, you prioritize some kills, you had your pathing that you want to do to get more early game aggression because of the lane matchups, and because of, you know, the jungle matchup, and all of that is fine to me. But then this is where it starts to be like, okay, now we're getting too obsessed with fighting, where we can't flip the switch, because now it's like every fight at this point when you're 504 needs to be a good fight, because you don't want to give away 700 gold shutdown or however much it is. You know, you don't, like, you dying at this point gives up, there's a gold bounty on top lane, you know, like, it switches now from this early game, we can fight and we're trying to abuse our early game, to now we're protecting our lead. So this turret, like, even, you know, protecting your turret was fine if you just protected the turret instead of, you know, over chasing the kill on the set, which worked out fine, but like, shouldn't have, right? And then again, like, this top lane, this Vayne, you could be stopping this Vayne from getting turret right now, but you're not, because you haven't cleared your blue side camps, you haven't reset yet, you're just kind of, again, a bit greedy. So does that kind of make sense?
It's a disaster. Okay.
It shouldn't be the end of the world because you're still, you know, pretty strong, but you're fighting this as though you're like even gold with the rest of the enemy when you should be like super ahead. And again, like, they give you kills, so like it ends up being, I think, fine anyway. But like, it could, you know, again, it's like you're still probably gonna win most of these scenarios because you're so much stronger than the enemy. But this is the way you could throw the game that's pretty much unlosable otherwise. You know what I mean? So.
I see.
And then, yeah, I mean,
it was the
unlucky.
Yeah, and I didn't have a smite.
Oh, and he's gonna like ping you like even harder now, like, because he's like already mad at you. So
yeah. Noob juggler.
Yeah. And at this point, yeah, I mean, we just again can go farm. Like again, this is like where I don't want you looking for an invade in this situation. We don't know where Lilia is. We don't know what camp she has up. We have 5 camps up and we have 3,500 gold. If you'd already spent your gold and you were insanely strong and you had flash up and you had ultimate, this is fine. But you have no flash, no ult, 3,500 gold in the bank, and 5 camps on your side, right? So again, I know like again with the corrupt video, right? I was talking about how you can be more aggressive. You pay attention to your laners more. You try to play around them. But then you're like you're never switching again. You're and this is the other thing I mentioned in the video is sometimes people will try to play his style and it's not going to work. They'll wonder why. Usually it's because they're not taking into account all the things he takes into account. They think, and again, like you saw, you know, the jungler do his pathing. This Chinese jungler must do this pathing every time. It's super OP. It's broken. And a lot of times YouTubers will make a video and they'll just say, this pathing is OP, right? And then you just do it every game. And then it doesn't actually work. And it's the same thing here. We don't have the resources to do what you're doing here. You're not going to get punished because he doesn't have red buff up. He's probably on his blue side right now, so it doesn't matter. But looking for this at all just shows kind of a lack of understanding of what we need. So again, top turret and bot turret are dead. So that's typically the way we progress the game in the first 7 to 10 minutes is like the outer turrets, right? And then mid turret either falls from a herald or it falls from us winning a fight. It's really hard to break open a mid turret without winning a fight because, you know, everyone's going to be protecting it because people ARAM a lot and because the jungler can always be close because, you know, it's in the middle of the map. Does that make sense though?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I say I'm overextending. This is too much.
Yeah. And again, like the Vayne is ass, so like it's fine. You know, he's like 0-5 at this point, but yeah, like these types of things, they just shouldn't work, and they usually don't matter, right? But these are the ways that you might throw the game. Actually, I want to look at the scoreboard as well. And you grab QSS, I'm glad, instead of your silly thing that you like to. Also, anti-shield's probably good, like instead of Yomu's here. I mean, they have set Lux, like, I mean, Victor also has the shield.
I hate anti-shield. I'm so much more useful with Yomu. The thing is, I hate anti-shield.
I mean, they're both 15 flat pen. Yomu's is 55 AD.
Is the passive?
Yeah, the passive is decent, but like I don't think the passive is going to be more useful than breaking set shield, who's probably going to get gargoyle as well, or Lux shield. Like to me, this is not worth. You know, like yeah, definitely would prefer having the anti-shield most situations when they have a lot of shielding, and it doesn't lower your damage that much, and it's just the passive. The passive, I mean, it's helpful, but it's nothing like crazy. And so yeah, this is a situation. Anyways, you know, that's up to you if you wanna choose to do that or not, obviously. But I really like that you cover the lane here because again, your goal is to protect this turret. So like this is exactly what we should do, right? So I really like that. I'm assuming you'll probably just invade at this point because like this is a circumstance where now you can invade. Now you have ult. You've spent your gold. You're really strong. Lily is even dead here, but even if Lily was alive, it'd still be good. But yeah, she's even dead. So obviously like there's no way she can even stop it. But yeah. And so there's definitely still there's definitely still times where you could go back to farming or like look for your own angles or your own angles to farm basically and like just be safer. Like this doesn't make sense, right? Again, still no flash. You're going under the enemy turret. Lilia just respawned. None of your teammates are nearby apart from Leona, right? And what does this kill do for us? Like it doesn't do anything, you know? All it does is possibly give away nearly 1,000 gold. If you get the kill, you're not really actually any stronger than you were otherwise, and you're risking throwing the entire game because 300 gold when you're up this much just doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But this is exactly how we lose an unlosable game. It doesn't happen, so there's not much, you know, to worry about, right? In this situation, because Lilia for some reason decided to invade your red side, but most of the time it could be pretty problematic. So, and yeah, it looks like you go Maw here because they're like 3 AP, so that's good. Yeah, I mean, if we're going to kind of reiterate like the main points, it's definitely just we need specific reasoning for why we're going to do something. If we're going to do something more aggressive than normal, like your pathing early game or like an invade, we don't want to just do it just because we want to do it. We want to do it because jungle, you know, enemy jungle started a certain way and we know this camp responds at this time, or the lane matchups are really good for us, so we should have an advantage, or whatever it is. We want to make sure we're shifting more based on the game. Then we want to understand what's the actual goal of the game once we get to a certain point. Like what, you know, it goes from wanting to play to progress the game by winning or by like, you know, getting kills by just basic playing of the game versus now it's just protecting our lead, you know, where we protect the turrets. So like here, you flash onto a 0-4 Vayne Does this do anything for us? Not really. He's already
100 gold.
Yeah, like he's extremely useless. He's not really scary. I mean, your target priority should even be Lilia. Like she's stronger, she's more scary anyway. But you don't need a flash because now you have no flash. What's spawning in 1 minute? Baron. Now you don't have flash for Baron, so maybe you end up making one silly mistake at Baron, and then you don't have flash. Now you die. You lose the game. Again, probably doesn't happen, but that's all we're trying to prevent because you're going to win this game 95% of the time, and the 5% you're going to lose is not going to be because you didn't kill the Vayne for the 9th time. It's going to be because again we got over aggressive, and here even like you're 80% HP or 20% HP. I mean, like even in this situation, you were pretty close to dying to just the random Vayne Lilia, even with using our flash and everything. So I think we kind of get the point at this point. It's just kind of like being better with our leads once we have them. But you're doing a good job like in the early game to get the leads. Like your decision making is good, that type of thing. I just want more intention behind that. I really like that you go here to protect this because they're not going to get Baron because your teammate's there, and so you're just trying to make sure you protect this turret. Like this is really good. Even like here, protecting the turret is better than getting the kill here, which is kind of again just a lack of understanding of what we're actually trying to do. Like you should just walk up, show him, scare him off so that you protect the turret, because this turret, he's 100 gold. This turret is giving him gold bounty. It's like over 1,000 gold, maybe. I don't know exact, but like you're losing 900 gold in this play, something like that. You get the wave too, which is nice, but like, and you also use your ult, which means, I mean, it's a pretty low cooldown, so it's not the end of the world. But now you don't have your ult for Baron, right? So just like again, we're kind of using it on.
You know what my problem is that I'm just I have so much hate against ADCs, and I just like to harass them and butcher them, and they just get tilted all game long. This is why I even put some emojis like just so she gets tilted all game long. But yeah, now I see the mistakes here.
Yeah, I mean, and then here again, you don't have your flash, you don't have your ult, and now you're invading. Your Garen recalled. The enemy could be anywhere. Your teammates aren't in a position to follow up. Like, do you see how you have so many angles where you could have thrown the game? I mean, you don't in any of these situations because you're mega fed, but like, you could have thrown the game. Maybe even, I don't think you died, but you're close to dying.
I do that. Yeah.
And so you died right at Baron too. Like this is exactly what we're talking about. And again, won't matter for the game, so we won't learn from it. But we need to realize, these are the problems. And obviously, like again, most of the game you play really well. It's just like once you get this lead, you get super cocky, and that is definitely a way to throw the game, especially in an early game champ. Like you're not playing, Lilia, you're not playing Echo, you're playing Wukong. You do fall off. Your champ's really strong, but you fall off at a certain point, and so you can't afford to do these things. And so I would just say, the two things that I want you working on, really, the main things I want you to approach, because again, a lot of improvement. You're already basically a Grandmaster, or are you Grandmaster now?
Let's see on next day.
Yeah. Well, so you're Grandmaster, basically Grandmaster, pretty early in the season, so you have a really good chance of hitting Challenger. You're getting a lot better for sure. But now at this point, main things we want to improve on is we want specific intention behind our pathing. So I want you to change your pathing based on the game. I want you to sometimes do the pathing you did this game when, again, the circumstances we talked about apply. I want you other games to path in a defensive way where it's like, oh, the enemy have a Volibear, we're, a late game champ, we need to just, like our comp is late game, we want to protect them, whatever. I want you changing that. And then once you get a lead in a lot of games, because you're really good at getting leads, I want you to make sure that you're playing, you're understanding when the shift happens from, okay, we're slightly ahead, I want to keep snowballing because we still need to make sure we're really ahead, to now I just need to protect my turrets, I need to protect my shutdown, I need to be more patient, I need to be intentional about when I use my flash and my ult instead of using it 30 seconds before before Baron to kill a Vayne that's worth 100 gold, like that type of thing. So those are probably the main things to work on overall.
Yeah, and this absolutely, because this is the problem with this game. It got just overextended.
Yeah.
I mean, I had that huge early lead, and this game overextended over 25 minutes.
Oh, it's a 25-minute game?
Reasons, so. Yeah, I guess.
Oh, well, it looked like 23, so yeah.
Yeah, more than,
a long game, yeah.
Like here, everyone
certainly a lot of these things are your teammates' fault too, but like obviously we can't control them, so. What were you saying though? Sorry, I kind of cut you off.
Excuse me?
What were you saying? I think I cut you off. I'm not sure.
No, I ended.
Okay.
It was good when.
That was a weird stasis.
Absolutely. I think she was lost.
Yeah, we'll take it. I mean, everything here is still fine. I have no problems with anything you've done, like with your Baron. All of that's fine. Your team did kind of randomly die, but that's not really on you. It'd be nice to recall. at this point, because Baron's about to expire, so we don't have that much to do. I mean, if you want to look for a quick fight, if your team goes in, that's fine. Like, I don't mind kind of hovering here, but there's not that much that we get out of this either, because there's no Elder, no Baron. We have enough time. Like, none of those things are respawning soon. So you just recall, because like even if your team doesn't and die here, we don't care. I don't really mind. You can take the blue, but you just gotta get out soon to spend your gold. As long as we're gonna spend our gold before we go for another fight. Because again, now we're just fighting with 4,000 gold, and like it's fine because they end up overextending. We can kill. I don't really hate that we go for it, right? But it just doesn't do anything for us when we could have recalled earlier. And now again, we're just looking for more overextensions without Baron now at this point, where it's just leading to more messy things. We don't have flash, we don't have vault, and then again we get caught.
And this is where
And now you get caught in a point where Baron or Elder will spawn in a minute, which means, and you even living longer is actually worse, by the way, because now you're closer to when Elder will, or like Baron's 41 seconds, so now you see like you're dead during that. So it's the same thing that we spoke about throughout the game, right? Is leading to two possible throws. So
I think it's systematic. I always do the same stuff, and this is why the game is overextended every time.
Well, and that's why when it comes to the notes that we'll write, I want you ideally to look at the notes before each game, and then I want you to like be really conscious. Like even you can set an exact number. Like if you want to just be like, I'm up 5,000 gold, like as a team. Now I'm gonna shift my mindset to not wanting to throw. Or you get to 12 minutes or 11:30. I just want you to have this awareness of like, at what point in the game does it not matter anymore that I get another random kill on someone? What does it matter more like that I save my cooldowns for proper fights or like that type of thing? So basically it is just like intention with most of your decisions, because again a lot of like the decisions are good, your understanding of the game is proper, and then you just get to a certain point in the game and it just kind of we get like cocky basically. So I imagine you still should win this fight, but you never really know. I would rather go Elder side. I guess you think they're maybe gonna go Baron, so you're just like, why is Lilia just that's weird.
But here again, they're fighting without me, and the fact that I went to Baron.
Yeah.
They all died.
And then you just get really greedy with your flash, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's still fine. You're 3v3, and Lilia's just not here for some reason. Why do you go bot here? What's the point?
Why do I what?
But yeah, there's no point to go bot. Like I don't know why you were going bot. Yeah, you should just prioritize Elder. Like you don't really need to even flip the Elder. Okay, this is really risky. Like why?
Yeah.
You should look. You should know. I don't even think you knew which champions were alive right now. Because obviously, right, Lilia's here, so we know there's 2 other people alive. They're gonna, of course, if they're not in mid right now on your turret, where else would they be? They're gonna be here, right? Like where else? Right? Is that obvious why they would be there?
Yeah, but no, absolutely. I knew Vayne and Lux was here.
Okay, so if we know Vayne and Lux are here, we should know what Lux is gonna do, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this should never happen. I don't know if you actually die or if you just you do actually die.
I do
like
die.
This is something you should have just known. Which again, like the things we need to keep track of in the late game are simple things like who is alive. If we know who is alive, yeah, and then like you're mad at your team here. Like this was your fault more than other people's fault. Like everyone did stupid shit. You did stupid shit. They did stupid shit. But this specific situation, you're the jungler. It's 3v3. Lilia's not even there, and you're killing yourself for a ward when you know that a Lux, who obviously does a bunch of damage over the wall, is directly over the wall. Again, it just comes to the late game decision making, because everything we do in the early game is generally getting us leads. We're generally doing a good thing, but then it's just like you just kind of lose your mind and you're just starting to just force fights constantly force objectives, like without thought about where people are or what we can do. Like all you needed to do there in this situation, it's very simple. Like Lux is going to, Lux here is gonna try to steal. Lux is really good at stealing, so I don't really want you to try to flip against the Lux, right? Like that's, even though Lilia's not here, it's not really going to be good. So all you have to do here is just, instead of Eing, because Eing puts you directly in his line of sight, right, where he can easily hit you, just walk up and just Q from range, and then just be ready to dodge, like, because you're going to be far enough away, she's not going to hit you, and then just kite the Elder out to, like, back here, right? And then that way she can't land her Q directly on you, and then just hit it a little bit to bait them, and as soon as she walks up, you turn on her. That's all you have to do. Like, you don't have to, because you don't want to flip, right? We just don't want to. You have enough damage to pretty much one-shot her. You have QSS if she does land a Q on you, so you need to make sure also that you're going to QSS when you go on her. Which, again, is just keeping track of spells, right? We know she has her Q. If she Qs us, we QSS. That's simple, right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yes.
Cool. And then yeah, obviously a little unfortunate, and then we get mad at our team, which again, I understand getting mad at our team during the game. Like that, even when I make a mistake, I'll get mad at my team a lot. But we just have to understand, at this point, like it was actually kind of stuff we could have prevented. So yeah, this game does become very, very messy.
I think they still get the job done, so it was alright.
Yeah. At this point, again, like I don't want to flip into Lux, bro. Like I mean, I know Garen's like but don't encourage this Garen's awful behavior. Like you want to fight here, but you do eventually. But even just hitting it, like it's just scary. And now Lux ulted, so now you can. I don't know why she ulted like that, but yeah.
She ulted on my clone.
Yeah. So, I mean, once she ults, yeah, then we're fine with the objective, and then we end, yeah. So I assume.
Yeah, we end here.
What happens?
Yeah, stupid that here. So it got me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, not much to say. We die with flash up. Doesn't matter though, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think we have the main point. Any questions about anything we talked about that game or anything? Yeah.
It was very clear. It was exactly what I needed.
Yeah, cool. And we'll write this stuff down at the end. Yeah, we'll go over this replay and then. So here we're into an Evelynn. We have a Singed, who's actually pretty good in the Warwick. He doesn't like win the matchup, but he doesn't lose it. You have no mid prio. Morgana's never gonna get mid prio, and he also knows he's the worst player on the planet. And you have no bot prio. So when it comes to this pathing, you can try to abuse the Evelynn with the pathing that you kind of spoke about. The problem is you don't have prio, so it's gonna get really, really messy. So I don't mind you doing the pathing in order to find the possibility of it happening, right? But I don't want you to just force the invade just because it's an Evelynn, because like again, the rest of the enemy is kind of still not good for us. But I don't mind just, like looking for it,
What did you say about the bot lane?
Very losing matchup. Corki Leona loses to Lucian Nautilus, but it's not like so
I
losing.
Corki was broken.
Corki is broken. So it's not unwinnable for Corki Leona, but Lucian has stronger early game. And Lucian has cleanse, which is better into a Leona matchup than Nautilus having, or than Corki having exhaust. But Lucian's stronger early game, more burst damage. Just overall a better early game champion. Nautilus Leona, they're very similar in terms of early game, and again we have the cleanse on the Lucian, so it's going to be a winning matchup for Lucian. Again, will they win? I don't know. That's why I'm making a plan for what could happen, not what will happen, because you never know. But yeah, Corki is broken, way better than Lucian, just not early game. But he's still strong enough that it's possible to be a win. So.
By the way, if I see a Corki in the enemy, there's no really any item that I can use against him since he does true damage, right?
Well, he does like 20% true damage on his autos. He doesn't do full true damage. So you still build armor against him, but you're not going to specifically counter him in any like unique way. Just armor is going to be useful. Like they have other AD champions, that type of thing. And then so here like, we noted. Yeah, what's up?
I ask. He doesn't build AP anymore, right?
No, he does no AP, and he doesn't build AP either. Yeah. Purely AD and true damage. I mean, technically, if he builds Solari, he'll do a little AP because the item does, but yeah, that's not the same. And it's not enough to itemize against it. But yeah, it turns out your teammates did kind of do decent in the lane. I mean, it went kind of 50-50, but I mean, you're doing a good job of looking at your lanes, and then you see that he E's, so like knowing that he E's is kind of important. I think his E will nearly come back up by the time you yeah, and then you want to force the gank early, so I like you get off your camp. Yeah, everything's good here, and then you have flash if he does go over. Everything's fine here, and then at this point, you actually had an angle to look for a possible invade if you'd wanted, because we know it's an Evelynn, we know Warwick. I mean, he's gonna respawn, so it's a little risky, but like what you can do here, even if not just invade, because I actually don't think invading is great, is you should just go and check if these camps are up, because then you can see where she started. Because like Evelynn,
I thought Evelynn would start blue.
What did you see that she started blue, or did you not know?
No, I thought she would start blue anyways, like Lilia.
Oh no, it's not the same. I mean, like they'll sometimes start Krugs, because Krugs is pretty fast clear. If she starts Krugs, so a lot of times Evelynn's will start red side. It's not like a guarantee that she'll start blue side. The thing, like, people sometimes are like, oh, it's AP champ, they should start blue, but it's actually more if the champion relies on mana. So, like, her clear, you have enough mana to get the blue and you're fine. Like, I've seen, you know, top Evelynn players start red side plenty of times. Whereas Lilia obviously kind of needs blue. Or Amumu, like, he doesn't have to have it, but he kind of likes it. You know, Olaf, right, because of his Q. So that's why, no, there's an entirely realistic chance that she started red side, which is why we can just go check. Because all we have to do is just, is blue buff up? Okay, blue buff's up. Then she didn't start there or not, right? Then we kind of know. So just get like a small idea, but I don't mind like just doing the scuttle instantly. But it's just like a little thing we could have checked.
Okay.
And then yeah, at this point, I guess like I don't mind if you look here. Yeah, fine. I don't think you'll kill, but you get some damage in his flash, and then you can just go up to your blue side.
Because I have first strike, so I like to poke every time.
Yeah, I like this like general path thing, and then we see Evelynn, and I think you're just gonna kill her. Yeah.
Just Morgana went back on her, which was
yeah. I mean, it's fine. Someone gets the kill. Yeah, everything's pretty fine here still. And Evelynn's forcing another gank. So at this point, yeah, she looks like she did start blue because she had only red and not blue, like at that time, which means her blue would have expired. So we know she started blue side. If she started blue side, that means that, like we'd said, 3 minutes is right around the timer where it would be respawning, right? We said we killed at 40 seconds or 30 seconds. It respawns around 3 minutes. Or not quite. This was respawn 320, the blue, but the Gromp would respawn around 3 minutes. So what you should be doing right now is going and evading, which you might be doing.
Yeah, I saw that she didn't get blue.
Yes. Oh, she didn't even. She ends up just still showing. Oh, right. She just stays. She's just really dumb. So yeah, you just go. Okay, now I mean it's just free game, and yeah, your pathing kind of creates an opportunity to be able to do this like decently well. So it's not bad. Yeah, another free kill. So yeah, I mean, you're doing a good job of paying attention to lanes and still like having enough farm in your early game, stuff like that. So.
I really liked Singe, so I was just forcing with him because his ganking setup is just too good.
Yeah, it's a really good gank setup for sure. Yeah, we get like pretty much the entire turret, so good. Oh. Okay.
And here Morgana left me, and I started. I don't know if I should have.
Morgana left, but the problem is the fact that you took the fight here more than anything. Like, obviously, again, yeah, Morgana, why should leave, I don't know. But when we look at this, like, do you know Warwick's abilities? Do you know how he works?
Mostly, yes.
Yeah, so, like, what spell should you be waiting for before going all in on Warwick?
His ult?
No.
Or his Q and jumping behind me?
No, his start ability. His start ability gives a bunch of damage reduction. If you go on him when he has all his damage reduction, we're doing no damage to him. Like, you go on him right away, you just fight him, you just start ability. He didn't even use it. He uses it late, but it doesn't matter because he uses it late. Now he's even longer, like, able to beat you. So he just used it. That's the little thingy you see, like the icon, whatever. I think you can tell, right? I used it now. And so, yeah, you go and you trade on him when he has his cooldowns up. He's just going to beat you. He's way better in 1v1s than you. And what don't you have? You don't have your ult. You don't have your flash, right? So, again, this is where the awareness starts to come in. 4-0 champion. We haven't spent our gold, so we're not that strong. I don't mind you instantly doing the objective because your teammate was there, right? And then you left. It's weird. But we should have awareness of where they are. We should know our Singe is obviously recalling. We don't have our ult, we don't have our flash, and yet we still go in, and we're also not keeping track of spells. So then, you know, you just end up dying because then he's able to fear you. Maybe he doesn't actually kill you. I think you do at least get to run away. But like, if he has ult, he doesn't have ult also. Either way, not a good thing. Also, even standing here, he can see you. He knows you're here. Like it could be scary.
I think he comes back also.
Yeah, you saw he nearly killed you there. Like, it was close. So yeah, being aware of his W passive, that type of thing, and then.
So they did Drake.
Yeah.
And now they all came in.
I think you just hard win this fight though. So I think you got stuck over the wall, rip. But yeah.
Yeah.
I do that so much on Wukong, getting stuck on the wall with my W.
Especially on this wall. This wall is so laggy.
Yeah. I don't even know if it's a laggy. It's just like a specific spot you have to get on, and I like hard to get the exact right.
Because it's fat. This wall is too fat.
Yeah. Needs Ozempic, but oh well. And I mean, here I just hit the turret. Yeah, like, fine. I mean, everything's still fine here. Yeah, I mean, the main thing is it's just the same thing we see. It's just your awareness of like, teammate location or like what matters now. So again, we're up 5k gold at this point in the game. We can just be pretty consistent with our farming, just like kind of focus on snowballing the game, protecting turrets. Like when you have this lead at this early point in the game, your goal is kind of to break open turrets, right? So we want to probably find an angle bot after getting our full red side clear and then look for that, because that's going to be the first time we're gonna. Okay, so actually this is a good thing to talk about. So he gets bot turrets, so it actually doesn't matter. So now we can have a different plan. So bot turret's dead. What should be your next goal? Probably
clearing my red.
Yeah, after red side. Sorry. Well, what do you want after red side?
It's getting a top bot turret.
You mean top turret, or I assume, right? Because
yeah, I mean top turret. Yeah.
The dual lane. Yeah. So yeah, your plan is dual lane turret. So we want to take a recall here, and then we want to go there. You see an angle to kill. I don't mind taking an free angle to kill. You know, like it's always fine, right? See him go, recall, spend our gold, and then we should be looking top side, which you do. And so again, early game planning is good. You're able to properly snowball. You're probably going to get top turret at this point. I assume, yeah, you even found Evelyn there. And then yeah, your team I think gets top turret, so everything's fine. You kill him, good with the fighting. And so this is where again we need our shift into like we just farm properly. And it looks like we're snowballing pretty hard, should be fine. But now at this point it is like we want to protect our turrets because we have gold bounties on them all. We want to make sure we get proper resets. I don't mind taking this turret obviously as well, right? Like free angle. Always take the free angle for free things like this, but we don't want to be over forcing is basically kind of the point, especially without flash, without ult, like when we don't have them, that type of thing. So I don't know why you just ulted you there. I guess because Evelyn's there. Your W auto attack did more. That's so you're so fed. Oh my god.
This game was really fun.
Everything's good here for sure. I mean, you can invade because you're just killing. So at some point we need to find a recall, but I don't really mind taking a little extra just because we know like multiple of the enemy were dead and whatever. Yeah, you get back. Your team just does dragon without you because you're that ahead. And yeah, I'm assuming nothing that bad happens. Maybe, but
no, it doesn't. No, this game doesn't. It was my promotion game.
Yeah, like this should be pretty straightforward. And even your team forcing there, we don't care. So I like that you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna get the wave. This is where, yeah, there's no reason to fight this. Like, you're 12-0, you have a 1,000 gold shutdown, 2 of your teammates just died. What should be your goal right now? What do you think your goal should be?
My blue buff and going top side.
Yeah. Blue buff. I would protect mid rather than top, because top's pushing farther, and mid, you can see the wave's about to come, and your turret's lower. So I would do blue buff in the mid. But you have the right idea in terms of protecting turrets. But what do you do in game? You try to kill the Nautilus, and then you try to flash, and oh nice, we got him, and now we're legendary, and now we're inside their blue buff. Well, 3 of our teammates are dead, and it's like in this situation, it doesn't look like it doesn't work. Like you're gonna live, but that is not worth it. It does nothing for you. It doesn't progress the game further, and it just leads to a possible throw, which again in this situation isn't a throw. But as we saw in the previous game, we talked about a bunch of throws that weren't throws that eventually led to the throw that was a throw, and then made the game hard, and we still won.
But, so even that said, you would never do this?
No, I'm not saying I would never do this, but I'm a cocky ass, so I'm going to do it sometimes too. I'm just saying it's not correct if I'm looking at it in hindsight. Like, obviously, yeah, I get cocky too. I throw games. I've thrown games from being over 10k gold ahead that are my fault. Like, that happens. I'm not saying it's unreasonable. Like, it's completely reasonable to do it. But the point is, you know, once you become a good player, you're up to, you know, Grandmaster, you're able to carry a lot of games, you're climbing. The goal no longer becomes, let me find these glaring weaknesses in my gameplay. You know, you're going to have proper efficiency most of the time. You're going to have good early game pathing. You're going to play fights well mechanically. Like, these things are now just going to be givens. And now what you're doing, like the way you're approaching improvement is, I want to do that thing that's going to win me 1 extra game in 100 games. So that my win rate goes from 53% to 54%. Like, you're just trying to get it slightly higher and higher so you can climb slightly faster. And then maybe, you know, instead of ending a season 55 mark Grandmaster, you end at 62 mark Challenger because of those, you know, 3 or 4 extra games you won. So that's the point. Yeah. That's why I'm analyzing like this. I'm not saying I would never do this. I would do it sometimes because it's like it's usually going to work anyway. You're usually going to win anyway. It's not a big deal. And especially if I'm like, you know, fucking around or joking on stream, or I'm like, you know, getting hype, whatever. Like, you're gonna do these things, and it's reasonable. It's just we need to try to be asking ourselves again, once we get ahead 5+K gold, what's the actual goal of the game now? Are these outer turrets taken? Like, that's kind of the first checklist, right? Is obviously, is there an objective? If there's no objective, are there outer turrets? If there's no outer turrets, are my turrets up? Do I need to protect turrets? You know, like these are the first things I'm looking for. And again, like if you're behind, you can take these more risky plays because both of these games are from ahead. Obviously, if you're behind, you know, everything is different in terms of the risks, in terms of like what we're looking for. Like even here, starting Baron, do we see Evelynn on the map?
Actually, no.
Right now.
I see. Yes.
So once you see her, you can start it. It looks like you were trying to start it anyway. I wouldn't want to start it if Evelynn was. So if you were just waiting until you saw Evelynn, then that's fine. But yeah, starting it once Evelynn's fine. But even here, like we haven't spent our gold, right? And it's just kind of like it's very consistent that you haven't spent your gold and you're doing a lot of stuff. In this case, it's fine, like I said. But just something to keep in mind, just generally. I think I go topside here because topside turret's up, but bot's not, right? Like topside tier 2 turret. Oh wait, no, it's not. Never mind. I thought topside tier 2 was up because those little red minions looks like a turret to me, but they're just minions, so never mind.
Just one question. You know, typically at these situations, I always go to my red buff before starting a team fight. I mean, if my red buff is available, if I come too late, I will always get my red buff.
I mean, it's not really like a big deal either way, frankly. Like, you could do your red buff and then come. You could not do your red buff. I don't really like it. It's not something where it's some like, you know, super important thing either way. Your red buff's usually not going to win you a fight, but you're also probably not going to usually lose the fight by not being there for 3 more seconds. Like, frankly, it kind of just depends on the situation. Sometimes it's like, oh, I need to be there right away because I have, you know, 20 seconds left in my Baron and my team is, you know, already looking for a fight. Then I need to go right away. Other times, you know, my team is pretty fine. Don't really need to be there. You know what I mean? So it really just depends. And you win the fight pretty easily. So yeah, we'll write out some notes. I mean, we kind of have an idea of what it is we'll be focusing on. Because again, like I said, largely once you're at this point where you're like, you know, improving quite a bit as a player, you just need to find these couple details. So first thing is we'll talk about, again, first game, early game pathing. I'll just call it like, for new pathing works better if enemy start red, and if we have winning lanes and winning jungle matchup. So like, again, like we said, some games you might have losing lanes, losing jungle matchup. And if you ever don't know how like lane matchups work, just DM me. You can ask me like about who wins this, or is it pretty even? I don't know every matchup perfectly, but you know, I have a pretty good idea since I play every lane. And yeah, based on that, we can kind of change how we're going to path, because most games we want to path more aggressive for us, but some games your goal is to just stop a Volibear dive early game or do whatever. Keeping that in mind. But other than that, I like your early game. You know, I think that's kind of the main thing. So it's just like shifting from aggressive mindset to a mindset of protecting our lead. Once we have, we have taken outer turrets and are up around 5k plus gold, then just like before going in, ask ourselves where where our teammates are, what cooldowns we have up, so like flash, etc. And what the purpose of the fight is. So like, this is probably the main thing I want you doing. I want you to, when you go into your next couple games, you know, like I think, like I said, I think your early game is overall good. I want you to have a bit more of a and I'll just write this here, like in early game, think more about spawn timers, right? Like as we were kind of talking about, right, with the when their blue buff is going to spawn because of where they started. I want you like doing that, you know, mental math in the game, or you can figure it out before the game if it's easier for you. That, you know, it doesn't matter. But for your first 5 minutes, that's what I want you to think about, is spawn timers and lane matchups for deciding my pathing, right? And then when it comes to the later parts of the game, we didn't really watch any replays from you from behind, so You know, you can if you find specific things, I have videos obviously on how to play from behind as well. If you want to find specific thing that you feel like you can improve on in games that are behind, you can figure that out. Obviously, I can give you some ideas if you have questions about that. Probably find something to do in a game that's relatively even to get better at. And then when we are quite ahead in a game, I want you really focusing on like these things where you can even do this, in games where you are more even, but I want you point 3 to like really be what you're thinking about. Like, where are my teammates? What cooldowns do I have? And what's the purpose of this fight? Which again, like that Herald fight where you didn't go on you went on the Warwick when he was full HP with his cooldowns. Like, where are my teammates? If you just said where are my teammates, you wouldn't have done that. If you said what cooldowns do they have, you wouldn't have done that. Like if you just ask yourself these questions, you're not going to do it because you're able to answer it properly when I ask you. You're just not always thinking about it in the game, which, like I said, is pretty normal. Just getting cocky with the lead, and then early game, thinking about the spawn timers. Do you have questions about the spawn timers, or does it kind of make sense like what it is that I want you working on? Or
so as you said, if they start red, it means that they get their first blue at 120, and you add this plus 220 minutes, which means around
230, but
230. Okay, so that means 4 minutes.
Okay. So they get the first. You're 230. Yeah, the buff spawns at one or at like about 4 minutes. But what's important to note is that the small camps will respawn earlier. So like if you're doing a red side clear, right? And we're gonna just solve. You didn't start red this game, I guess. Like, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? So we'll just go to early game quick and just basically. So like, if they start red here, we just go through this clear just really quickly. Let's say they started on their Krugs. So okay, they probably finished Krugs now because you just finished these. So okay, they just probably finished Krugs. Okay, now they probably just finished their red right about now. Now they probably wolves are maybe dead, or raptors rather. And now wolves are dead. Let's just say, obviously, very rough. Doesn't matter because it depends on the jungler. But so 105, they killed these. That means they respawn at what, they respawn 150 later, so like 3 minutes roughly. So roughly 3 minutes these spawn. We're saying, and then they get Gromp 30 seconds later. That respawns at 3:15 to 3:30. So and then the blue, it's like 4 minutes roughly, 3:45 to 4 minutes, depending on what champion it is when they do it. Because some people do blue as their 4th camp, some do it as their 6th camp. Like it depends. But yeah, I want you keeping track of this rough idea, which is pretty much just like the 3:30-ish mark is when like that stuff will start to come up. If they started red side, right, and if they started blue side doing that. So yeah, just like having that idea in your mind is generally what I mean. Make sense?
Okay, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and then trying to think, in general, like waiting out cooldowns and fights, we kind of have that in point 3. Play around turrets pretty well. Could sometimes, I think you did a good job of protecting turrets as well. Like I said, I think there's a lot of like good things in this game, a lot of improvement, which is why we just have like these specific things, which again is the early game, the spawn timers, that kind of pathing based on, so also just like early game base pathing on matchups rather than just doing the same thing every game. And then I think the last small thing, again, the main notes we've already kind of talked about. The last small thing is recall a bit more frequently. A lot of times you're sitting on a lot of gold, right? Like 3k gold where you go in a fight, you don't really take into account have you spent your gold, which I guess and have you spent your gold for this point. So yeah, there's less notes than normal because like I said, we've improved these things. These are the major things. Do you have any questions or anything else that you think we should like write down or talk about or anything at all?
Oh yes, what runes I'm using? I'm using the red tree.
Yeah.
And I'm using the eyeball,
Collector,
the empower, collector, the blade, which empowers my Q every 8 seconds.
Yeah. Empowers your auto attack, but yeah, it works with Q.
Okay. And the last one is a sudden impact. And on the right side, you told me that brutal was good. I didn't like it, so I went to. I just removed coup de grace and I went to the one that just scales AD at 20 minutes. You know.
Gathering Storm.
Gathering Storm. Yeah, Gathering Storm.
So your runes.
So what do you think about
your runes? Are empowered first strike, empowered attack, sudden impact, eyeball collector, Gathering Storm.
Yeah. So as an assassin.
Yeah, for like a full
usually
assassin
works,
build, those are fine. So full assassin runes are fine, but ideally changing based on game. Like those runes are really good, and first strike and whatever is really good. But if they go a full tank comp, like your build probably should have, you know, you can go like Trinity start. You maybe throw in Mortal Reminder as your second or third item, and then you're maybe building something a bit tankier. So you don't get, you know, one shot when you go in, and maybe you're going Conqueror that game. And in terms of runes, you're having Giant Slayer, you know, like you're probably going Precision, you're probably going Gathering Storm, Giant Slayer, and then Tenacity or Alacrity, depending on if you need, you know, less CC or you just want the attack speed. And then, like, you know, your last rune, you can go Perseverance if they have some CC. So, like, it just depends on the game. Yeah, I mean, that's basically that. So, like, you can.
But if I'm going Assassin, yes.
But if you're going Assassin, then those runes are good. Yeah, they're kind of like they're complete one-shot runes, and we saw your damage in the game. Yeah, it's really high. So.
Okay. Nice. Questions? I think. No, I think it's all clear. This one was really good.
Okay, I'll send you these then, and yeah, good luck.
Thank you, Talon.